So what does channeling feel like in your actual physical body? Because remember, that is the channeler. It's coming through your senses. It's coming through sight, sound, taste, touch, hearing. Okay, so you're going to get a bodily reaction when you are receiving things from spirit or people's higher selves or their inner children or different timeline versions. When you are receiving healing energy, because that's what's underneath all of these modalities, is all energy healing. Okay, that's it. That's the root of everything, but it's just coming through in different flavors, if you will. You might get really hot in your body or feel very cold. You might feel tingling sensations or vibrating in different areas of your body. You can feel very floaty, okay, almost like you are outside of yourself, not like astral projecting necessarily, where your energy body is literally out of your physical body, but more so you just feel not super grounded within self. Or the opposite can be true too, where you feel incredibly grounded and very heavy. You can feel a lot of pressure in your body or in specific body parts. Feel that there is a presence near you. It can be a past loved one or an ancestor or an ascended master or a guide, or you feel like there's an energy that is touching you, getting your attention, or maybe giving you a hug, and maybe it's your grandmother from the other side. And channeling is not solely reserved for energy healing. Okay? Again, we talked about previously all the different things that you can channel. When people talk about being in the flow state, they are tapped in and tuned into them as creator and source, and into the flows and cycles of life. When you might hear an athlete talk about this, about how they were conscious, like they were aware, but it's almost like this other version of them took over and just got them to where they needed to be. Like if they were in a race, they were like, I kind of just checked out and then I was at the end of the line, but it's still something that they are thoroughly enjoying the process of, but you are able to reach this level of peace within and completely put aside everything that is happening kind of in your human experience that would be normally like stressing you out, or you would be thinking about, not even in a negative way, but thinking about family members or friends. It's like you are complete attunement with self. And different examples of when people can be in that flow state is when they're dancing or creating art, listening to music, practicing yoga or photography, acting, doing martial arts and crafting, or again, participating in sports. When I was going to a lot of music festivals, it was so incredibly healing. I just felt so free and liberated, and that I was around my people. I could express myself authentically, and I love dancing. And everybody used to comment on the way that I danced, because I would be very flowy with my hands and be doing these sequencings. And I didn't realize at the time that it was light language that I was channeling in different forms of Reiki on myself. And I was able to do a lot of deep healing through doing this dance and being in the flow state. I wasn't thinking about anything. I was so in the moment, okay, here and now, and I just felt like the best version of myself. I think that is a great way to put it. And what even is the best version? But I think for the context, like, we know what that means, of just my most expressive, authentic self. It's like you completely lose track of time. I also realized that I was an Akashic record reader when I read this book, How to Read the Records by Linda Howe, and I'll share that when we get to the Akashic Records. But when I read it, I said, oh my gosh, I have always been doing this. I just wasn't aware, because I would have conversations with people and I would just automatically drop into channeling. I would be giving them all different types of advice and guidance and nudges, and it just felt like it was coming out of nowhere. And it was coming from me and my own personal experience, but it was also coming from these deep parts of their soul, and I was reflecting that back to them. But that is one of the times even now, that I feel most alive, when I'm having a high vibrational, high frequency conversation with someone. Like when I'm talking to my soul tribe members specifically, we could talk for like 3 hours straight, and I am conscious of what is coming through, but when I walk away from that conversation, I don't remember every piece and facet of it. Okay, and time just seems to go right out the window, because I'm having so much fun and again being my authentic, expressive self. But that's one of the ways that channeling feels like to an energy healer. Okay, that's our flow state. Okay, so and are you going to be that way every single time? No, there are a lot of times where or I would say that there's different levels to it. Okay, I am always in a flow state when I am healing or supporting, but when I'm with someone who I resonate with on a very deep level, I don't have to utilize as much energy and as much mind power as I would with someone who is a little bit less in resonance with me, still being in the flow state. But I wanted to share that example of that being for us as the healers. Okay, just like the artists and the creatives and the sports players, and just all these different facets of what people say they get into flow state music, rappers, all these different things. They just birth these beautiful things without even being super consciously aware. That's what we do. And so again, when we're talking about trusting self, that what is going to come through is meant to come through, when you let go of the reins of control and really step into surrender of self, your gifts and abilities as a healer, you don't have to do as much conscious work. Okay, you are able to just relay exactly what is meant to be relayed. Some things that do help with that, though, I do want to say this, though, is I still research a ton of stuff all the time. All the time. New psychology tools, energy healing tools, new modalities, new consciousness expansion, awareness things that are motivational, that are encouraging, that help with leadership and accountability, and trauma wounds, and working with people's inner children and things like that. That way, when I do get into that flow state, I have even more that I can give and offer to other people. So just bear that in mind too. Like, there's still things that we can do on our human level that we can bring forth from within us to help people on a multitude of levels.